Drink it in, man.
Cornbread! Cornbread! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Drink it in, man.
Cornbread! Cornbread! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Drink it in, man. Drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid. Detroit Koolaid drinkers. You guys know what it is. Your host, Derek Oakley, right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. As we always do. Drink it in, everybody.
Drink it in, man.
Side of cornbread.
Cornbread!
Gotta make it a double.
Cornbread!
I'm feeling good. Football is basically back. I know a lot of you guys out there that are gamers. I'm not a gamer, but college football came out a couple days ago. When you're hearing this, on the old PS5 now. You got your is Xbox still a thing? I don't even know, but I know it's pretty sweet that college football is back as a game because we all love college ball, but we definitely love those Detroit Lions. And here on the Koolaid Cast, we always try to hype you up about this team, get you ready to roll. I've been saying for weeks, like training camp's right around the corner. Like you'd think I'd have the date right in front of me, but here we are, basically middle of July, and I think by the end of this week, Lions rookies, some quarterbacks, we'll be at training camp, and then they get rolling here next week. Next week will be rolling, from what I understand. So that's absolutely incredible. What else we got going? Like I guess what I want to do on this show, again, there's lots of things out there. Still kind of a slow period. It's kind of crazy. This NFL season, if you think about it, has been really quiet. There hasn't been any deals. There hasn't been any big commotion. So it seems like after the draft and once free agency was basically done with, it was just kind of like, it was just, I don't know, it's just been like extra quiet, you know what I'm saying? Lots of crickets going on here in the National Football League, but I got plenty to talk about today. I've got rumor innuendo, I've got some takes, some information, some opinions, some future draft talk here on the show today. So we can't mess around. Let's get right into it. Let's get this thing rolling. We'll keep this show tight. We'll try to keep it fun, keep it light for you. The first topic that I wanted to talk about was Matthew Judon of the New England Patriots. Now, this is getting a lot of talk, and people are like, he's not happy there. He wants a new contract. The Patriots don't want to pay him. I think I saw it recently. I think he is 32 years old. Been very productive the last couple years. If you ever watch any Patriots football, he's the guy in the red sleeves that's usually killing the quarterback. Had a lot of sacks, a lot of disruption. Played football at Grand Valley State University here in Michigan. Yeah, you heard that right. But he's been a really good pro. Yes, he's very close to the end of his career, but does he have a year, 2, 3 left? I think he does. I think he's a hard-working, productive football player. Of course, everybody wants to get guys that are 23, 24, 25 years old, doesn't want to pay him any money and wants him to come in here and ball out. But that's just not the reality, all situations considered. So the whole situation with Matthew Judon is if the Patriots don't want to pay him and he doesn't want to come unless he gets taken care of, would they trade him? And what would the compensation be? So for an older player like this, you would think it would be kind of that mid-round draft pick type situation. I've heard some outlets talking about second round, and would you give up a third round pick to get this guy? Based on the NFL and the way they do trades where good aging players go for absolute pennies and absolutely late nothing draft picks that will never amount to anything, I think Matthew Judon's more of a, fifth type round pick, and I know everyone loves to say, well, we don't want to give away any draft picks because Brad Holmes is an absolute genius. He's a ninja. He's an absolute terror when it comes to the NFL draft. He'll find players in the 7th that can help us. Yes, I agree with all that, but I think that Matthew Judon, based on him playing college ball here, being a elite edge rusher still at this point. Now, I did hear other hyperbole out there where people were like, if we get Matthew Judon, well, we got the best 2 edges in football. I mean, I don't have a short list in front of me, but I guarantee there's 5, 8, 10 combos out there that would be better than Judon and Aiden Hutchinson. But that's not to say that wouldn't be a nice combo, especially with Hutch on his rookie deal still, and if you can get Judon at a 2-year deal at a number that makes sense for you. So normally I would kind of write this off and be like, just let Pascal and Houston and some other vets get after it. Again, Davenport, TBD if you ask me, but we'll see. I hope he plays well. Needs to lose some LBs if you ask me, which I said on previous shows. But, I'm actually a proponent of this. I would look into it. I like Matthew Judon as a player. I like his character based on what I know. I would think he'd have some familiarity as well as be like, hey, the Lions are ready to win. And it's a nice situation. I come in and start. They got an aggressive defensive coordinator, an AG. Let me get after the quarterback. Give me I don't even know. It'd be like a 2-year. I mean, can you get him for under 10? 2 for 20 and make the first year the max and a little get out after that if it didn't work? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers out there, but I do think this is worth a call. This is worth investigation. And the thing about Brad Holmes that's funny is he seems like an ultra aggressive dude when it comes to the draft and his team overall. But I'm still waiting for him to get a little more aggressive when it comes to trades, free agents, and just sort of like having that sense of urgency that this is the time. And he'll tell you, well, this isn't the time. We're going to do it over a long stretch. Yeah, I'm still want you to build a long-term football team, but anybody that's sitting here now that doesn't know that this year, next year, and the year after is the sweet spot for the Detroit Lions to make a deep playoff run, win some divisions, go to the Super Bowl and win it, is fooling themselves, because we're not trying to play for 5 years down the road, 10 years. Do I think this regime, if they keep Brad always over business Holmes and Dan freaky Campbell together, do I think that they're just going to fall off the map, be in the top 10 in the NFL draft again in the next few years? No, absolutely not. But you got to have a sense to go for it without blowing up your cap or giving away all your... I mean, Brad Holmes has given up future assets in the draft for project players, whether it be Gio Manu or, gosh, his boy Vaki that he had to have. He's giving up third rounders like they're candy. But then when you talk about giving a third, fourth, fifth for a player like Matthew Judon, who we know what he can do, we know he's ready, unless he has some injury that I'm unaware of that's chronic or that is going to just take him off the football field. Like, he's good from that perspective. So I think a lot of things just add up to Matthew Judon being a nice vet, a guy that wants out, a guy that probably wants to win. At a position of need, edge rusher, yes, we have bodies there, but this would be a place I would add on this football team. So you heard it here on the Koolaid Cast. I'm a proponent of Matthew Judon, again, based on price, based on him wanting to be here, and not giving up some ridiculous 2-3 type draft pick, giving up a mid-round pick to obtain this type of football player and paying him something that he's happy with, but not something that's going to be ridiculous for a guy that is 32 years old and a guy that you'd be bringing in as a somewhat of a 1 to 2 year rental. So there you go. Go get Matthew Judon, Brad Holmes. The next thing I wanted to hit on was these training camp tickets. Again, I've been a season ticket holder, probably going on, 8, 10 years now, maybe even more. I don't even know. I lost track. First few years, go to every game, go to a bunch of training camps. Nowadays, I like to go to 1-2 games a year, spread those tickets around family and friends. Everybody gets to go to a game, enjoy it, whoop it up. I get to watch from the luxury of the DTO scouting room, as well as other areas of my house where I have about 50 TVs rolling, good food, and a great view, and get hyped for the football game. But these training camp tickets, like, normally I'm somewhat on it, where it's just sort of like you watch, oh, okay, they're coming out next Monday, 10 o'clock, you jump on, reserve a couple, and then unfortunately what's been happening to me the last couple of years, I'll reserve, a couple tickets for one session, and then something crazy in my life pops up, and I haven't been able to get down to the 8 Allen Park headquarters here in the last couple of years. But the crazy part about this year, I know everyone's hyped about the team, I know everybody's jumping on that Lions bandwagon, but not to say I was jumping online right away or I was even looking, but I saw some of the tweets on the X machine and out there that, people were getting on trying to wait for these training camp tickets where you just go sit in the bleachers, can't see anything, get roasted by the sun, and get your face painted for, I think it was like 4,000, 5,000 in the waiting line, and people that were like long-time season ticket holders weren't even able to get any, and this was the season ticket holder only portion, and then when it opened to the public, good luck there trying to get them. So kind of crazy demand right now for stuff like that isn't even a game, isn't even a indoor practice fan event. This is just a random Wednesday afternoon out at Allen Park watching practice football. So that was surprising to me. Again, you've heard me say before that if you can get to training camp and you have kids, or you're a guy that loves football, a small family, and you want to go out there, play all the games, get some of the food trucks, you want to hit up some of the little giveaways they have, watch the game, try to get some autographs. Yeah, it's a nice time, especially in a late July, early August type day here in Michigan, outside and soaking up the sun and enjoying. But to wait in those type of lines, or to be like a 15-year season ticket holder and not be able to get tickets to go to a training camp session is absolutely crazy to me. So the people, you guys know who the people are, right?
And the people consist of the millions.
So we always talk about the millions and millions that listen to this show and are drinking that Detroit Koolaid with the double-sided cornbread, but the millions and millions are trying to get to training camp, Lions games. Again, so thankful that so many great people have scooped up my tickets this year and are just so excited to game. Shout out Stash and the ATL. Be hitting up. I think he's got the Thanksgiving game. What up, Stash?
I'm a run.
Enjoy that for sure. We've got just all the games accounted for. Everyone was excited. Again, I keep saying again today. I don't know what's going on with me. But I've said before that I'm not trying to make any money off my tickets or do anything. I'm just trying to have people enjoy. So, shout out Chris Dexter and her family. They split my tickets still. Teresa, Joe, Stash, who I think is it the Tuna? The Tuna, I think, is going to 2 games. A couple other people that listen to the show. Again, I might even be kind of confused because there's just so many people reaching out to me, but I got those taken care of early. Everybody's got games they like, getting ready to go enjoy the Detroit Lions, drink that Kool-Aid, and have fun. So I don't know what's going on with this training camp. I'll be sitting on the old Twitter machine watching, listening, tweeting out, soaking up football, but I'm not going to be waiting in a 5,000 person line for training camp, that's for sure. And quick side rant to Good Morning Football. I think they put out a tweet the other day. Hey, we're returning on July 29th. What is... again, shout out Kyle Brandt. I'm sure you love it because he's probably been getting paid the exact same to do nothing for the however many months they've been off. Yes, I understand these people had to move their families. No, I don't understand why the NFL would take their top morning show off the air before the draft in Detroit and then just leave it off for 3 months. And then what are you coming back on the 29th for when camps are starting right now? What, you can't do a few pre-shows? You can't, like, get your stuff rolling while football gets rolling? You got to wait for, like, week 2, 3 of training camp, and then you're going to show up on there and do your show again? So, I don't know what's going on with Good Morning Football. Again, I'll be glad to have it back. I know I kind of just took a half shot at Kyle Brandt, but I like him a lot. Real funny dude. Does a lot of crazy things. Smart guy, obviously. And, he's done a lot with his career, coming all the way up as a phone screener, basically, with Jim Rome. Then became producer, did a bunch of stuff, and it's been great with Good Morning Football. And, you got Jamie there. She'll be returning. P. Schrags will be back. And then they've added a couple new folks as well. Sherry Burris, who I like a lot. She's real smart and tremendous at what she does. Really be great on that show. So I don't know. I'm glad it's back. I'm just annoyed that they could take all that time off and just sort of, we're coming back, but not for another 2.5 weeks. After we've been off for 3 months, just soaking up the sun, getting paid, and laughing it up while we have to maybe load a U-Haul and move. I'm sure they got paid handsomely, and again, why would you take that show off? I have no idea, but it'd be nice to have football back in the mornings. And again, I said again, for the 15 millionth time on the show. I think they'll have that back to football or whatever that is, where it's like a Saturday afternoon where it's just all the training camps are rolling. That's always really fun. I love when that's on. I can just get a pizza or something and sit and enjoy that from the comfort of my home as well. The last thing I want to hit before a commercial break is Brandon Aiyuk. It just came out before I started recording that, he's officially requested a trade. I mean, how many times do we see this song and dance in the NFL? Guys trying to get a deal done, team doesn't want to pay, they want the player, they want him to do all the right stuff, he doesn't want to show up to certain things, he also doesn't want to be fined. They just sit around and waste time, and then all of a sudden you get this, the player would now like to be traded, officially request a trade. And then you get the subsequent message, the team has no intentions of trading that player. Then you get the subsequent message after that from every Lions fan, what about if the Lions got Brandon Aiyuk? That'd be incredible, right? Sign him up. We could use another receiver. I've said before on this show, again, and I'll say it again and again, that it's not going to happen. And things have happened that I didn't think were going to happen. And I'm always surprised when that happens. I don't see any chance of this happening. He's going to want too much money. It hurts J-Mo if you bring a guy like that in right now while he's trying to get his career rolling and do some big things. You already paid St. Brown, so he's not coming to Detroit. I would like to see him go to Washington or Pittsburgh or another team like that where he'll fit right in, can ball, and they could pay him a nice, handsome amount. Plus, I would like him off the San Francisco 49ers. One, because I think Ricky Pearsall could be fun in fantasy football. There's a sleeper for everybody out there, especially if Aiyuk gets moved. But more so because I want the San Francisco 49ers to be worse offensively. I want them to have some injuries on defense and offense this year, and just have a clunky type year so the Lions can overtake them in the NFC and go to the Super Bowl. So that'd be the main reason. But sorry to tell you, everybody, I see no scenario where he will come here. I see no way they could bring him here and pay him, but I've been wrong in the past. I'd probably be happy to be wrong again because he's definitely a good dynamic weapon and somebody that could help this football team. So there you go. There's my quick Brandon Aiyuk take. Everybody, let's try to get our great sponsors in here. Again, some changes on the old platform, the different program setups that I'm using. So if you hear ads in different places or more ads or whatever, we're always just trying to grow the show and adapt with the times as these different platforms and programs and setups always change. So I got to roll with the punches. So go ahead and try to get some great ads, sponsors in here. Please check them out. Please go share the show. Like the show, retweet the show, repost the show. Anytime you can give a 5-star review. Again, we don't ask for that. One other quick thing that I don't ask for, and when I ask for it, you guys do it, and it's hilarious and fun on the show. I don't think I've said Koolaid Hotline and given out the number in I don't know how long. I need people calling up, leaving funny messages, hot takes, what's going to happen. I need people after Lions games to be dialing up the Kool-Aid hotline, just ranting and raving, leaving me funny messages, celebrating victories. You guys know what that number is. 989-272 Kevin Smith, Herman Moore. 989-272-3484. You need to save that in your phone. You need to dial it up often. Oh, but okay, I don't like to call up shows. And you can literally just send me a quick text. You can do a voicemail, where you just leave a voicemail. If you dial up and I'm not doing anything, I may just pick up the phone and we could talk Lions for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or maybe 2 minutes if you're crazy. I mean, you never know what could happen if you dial up the Kool-Aid hotline. So I need people to start hitting that up. I'm going to try to do a better job of reminding you. But if you do that, or if you leave a 5-star review, which we never ask for and don't have any rating because we don't ask for it, that really helps out as well. So everybody, thank you so much. Take a quick pause and we'll be right back. Kool-Aid drinkers are back. Thank you so much for listening to the show, sharing the show, calling the hotline, leaving us reviews, checking out our small little YouTube. Again, the numbers blow up on all the podcast platforms. I don't know. If anybody's a YouTube expert and knows how to get your content out there, I feel like the show in general, the show when me and Chops do it, when I have Logan on, when we have Joey Sports Guy, we got some other listeners that'll be coming on. I feel like we got a great Lions show, but I don't know how to get it out to the masses on YouTube. I just throw it out there and some of you diehards check it out and nobody else knows that it's even out there. So if you know a way to put something in the title or set it up to where it'll get out to millions of other Lions fans, I'd love to do that. I try to share it on Facebook groups. I try to share it on X communities, on Twitter, try to retweet it often throughout the week. So that's really the way that we get it out. Word of mouth, grassroots effort still, even though the millions and millions are always drinking that Detroit Kool-Aid and loving the show. So everybody, thank you so much. I say it every week. My pen just flew across the room. Let's go ahead and do the second half here, and let's start off with this thing. I don't know if you guys saw it, which is, I'm going to do another little rant because it's kind of ridiculous. Some publication thought it was a good idea to do an article, a poll, or whatever about who's got the best odds for the next 5 years to win Super Bowls, and they just threw out random teams. Who knows what the Chiefs are going to look like in 2 to 3 years? Who knows what who's another favorite? They think they just randomly were I think San Francisco will win the next 2, and then it'll be Kansas City, and then it'll be the Giants, and then we'll throw the Cowboys in it. It's based on what? I could see you being I like these young rosters, excuse me, or hey, these teams are poised for the future, but just throwing out random teams that were going to win Super Bowls in the next 5 years at a random guess. You have no idea the roster. You have no idea what, even what their draft capital is 4 years some down the road. I mean, it's a futile exercise if you ask me, and just seemed like a waste of time. But that publication did have the Lions, I think, winning 2 Super Bowls. I want to say it was this year and not the year after, but the year after that. I think they got 2 out of the next 3 they had the Lions winning. So, again, stupid exercise. They have no idea what they're doing. But, yes, this year, next year, and the year after, yeah, you could somewhat project that. And everybody's projecting the Lions to be in that mix. And here's another side rant. I don't want loyal, diehard Kool-Aid drinkers and people out there to get on their high horse and think that we're just going to beat everyone, we're gifted this, we're going to do this to you. I see people tweeting out all the time, oh, see you in the Super Bowl, oh, look at us, we know what we're going to do, blah, blah. It's we still got to have that grittiness, that humbleness, that ability to be you're going to have to work for it, you're going to have to earn it, you're going to have to go get it. We know we have a good young team, but we've also seen many years where you had people at certain positions going into a season, and then by week 3, you don't have those people anymore based on the crazy injury rate in the National Football League. So I just want everybody to stay hungry, stay humble, but yes, be excited. This next 3-year window is going to be incredible for this football team, and the next 5 years in Detroit sports, whether it be hockey, basketball, football, especially football, hopefully hockey and maybe not so much basketball are going to be incredible. So get ready, get excited, and love up our teams, no question about it. But I'm just seeing a little too much arrogance from Lions fans, just gifting us to this, to that. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. Look out for this guy. Oh, career year for this guy. It's just like, just let it play out, man. Let it happen, as well as we still got to have that underdog mentality, that ability to go get it. So I got fired up about this article, just thinking how stupid, but then how exciting if the Lions did get the next 2 out of the next 3 Super Bowls, or whatever it is, 2 in the next 5 years, whatever the article said. But, this year, as excited as we are, I just don't want people, again, first goal, win the division. Second goal, have those home playoff games throughout. Third, be healthy heading into the playoffs. Beat up teams in the playoffs. Get back to the NFC title game, whether it's against the Eagles, the Niners, or some rando team. Because I'm here to tell you, it's going to be like 5, 6, 7 teams that come out of nowhere that you're like, man, I thought they were going to be terrible. And they're not terrible. They're good. So I think that you got to be ready for everything, and I'm ready for everything this year. The most incredible, magical ride all the way to the big game and winning it, and I'm also ready for a few devastating bad issues come up, other teams get better, and we underperform. That doesn't mean I'd be like, oh, we're doomed. Oh, no. That just means it's NFL. We had a bad year, just like the Bengals did last year, just like other teams do every single season. So that's a public service for everybody out there. Even though on this show, try to be positive, try to whoop you up, try to get you excited, but I also need a little bit of that reality, a little bit of that humbleness, a little bit of that wait and see, TBD if you ask me type mentality heading into these next couple seasons as well. Let's go ahead and talk about Aiyuk McNeill, aka Honey Bun, aka Twinkle Toes, aka Plump, aka the Mac, aka Dream, aka number 54, the big fella. I think he dropped another hip-hop album here. Aleem, I apologize. I did give it a repost, retweet. I did not listen yet. I will check it out. I know that you've got bars. You could flow. You do your thing on and off the field. Appreciate you. So the big debate has been like, do you bring back Aiyuk McNeill? Can you pay him? And it's been early thoughts where you're probably going to have to let a guy like that walk. If you're going to pay Hutchinson, you already paid these other guys. Now I start hearing, oh no, you got to keep a guy like Aiyuk around. You should be able to get him at a nice number. He wants to be here, and salary cap's only going up, blah, blah, blah. This, that, and the third. And I want to keep Aiyuk McNeill here. He's shown a dedication, again, to his diet, to his conditioning, his overall training. He seems like a great guy, only getting better. Again, I was a little annoyed the first year or so. It was like, never saw him getting after the quarterback, never saw him disrupting the pocket. Now you see that. Now you don't see that big stomach just protruding out of the jersey. You see him looking the part in the uniform. So I want to keep this guy. I feel like he's a cornerstone of this football team. What will the number be? How will they maneuver things around? I don't know, but he's very young, 23, 24 years old. Couple productive years, coming into his own physically. Important position. You call him a nose tackle, you can call him a penetrating DT, whatever you want to call him. He's a force there in the middle of your defense. But I did see an article, again, I think this was, I went to Lions Wire quickly, and they had something, it was like a preseason draft projection where they looked into the next year's draft and gave the NFC North teams or all teams players, just based on where they think they'll finish, all that. So they had the Lions getting Kenneth Graham, the absolute big fella, ridiculous athlete from the University of Michigan. You guys know I'm all about that Go Blue here on the show. And I'll never forget that play where Kenneth Graham just ran down a man from like, I think he was like 20, 30 yards behind, and he's what, 320, 330, however big he is. And this dude just ran him down like a track athlete. I mean, that was absolutely incredible play that will stick in my mind for years. So I love Kenneth Graham. I think he's going to have a great year. I obviously love, or Kenneth Grant, sorry, I'm thinking of Mason Graham. I believe I'm getting those confused. Kenneth Grant, KG, as they always call him, Kenny G, on the broadcast. He's a hell of an athlete, a player, but no, I don't want to bring in like a KG and kick out a Aleem the Dream. I'd much rather keep Aleem the Dream. So that was exciting. The other thing I did quickly pick up in that article was at pick number 10. Yes, the Minnesota Vikings were picking 10 because they're terrible. They were getting Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan. And what's up with my boy J.J. McCarthy saying he's holding out if he doesn't get a fully guaranteed upfront signing bonus? Like, that's the most anti-JJ type of comment, post, rumor, innuendo that I've ever heard. Like, that's got to be bula bula, as Chops would say. But that was interesting that came out recently, too. I can't imagine he's putting up that kind of front. He seems like a just do everything right kid, come in and work. And we'll see when he hits the football field. So, keep Aleem the Dream. Yes, if you can add to your interior or outside defensive line, your defense, skill players, whatever, we'll do that when the draft comes around because Brad Holmes is an absolute genius. The last thing I want to talk about on the show here, and again, man, how many times have I said again on this pod? And you guys know my pet peeve are those people that say, hey, this is what I think about, man, the weather hasn't been good this week, right? It's like these people out there that say right after everything they say, like they want you to agree with them, they want you to be intimidated by them, they want self-assurance that what they said was interesting or correct in some way. That's the most annoying bleep ever, man. And it happens with everybody. On TV, at work, your personal life. Everybody's always saying whatever they got to say and then ending it with, right? It's like, I just want to, every time somebody says, nope, that's wrong. And this, we're like, no, I'm not going to agree with you. Just because you told me or asked me that open-ended question by saying right. The only funny one that does it is Solo Sikoa, who on WWE television says it and says right just to punk people out and does it in a much cooler, intimidating way because he's an absolutely nasty big beast. My new tribal chief, by the way. Yeah, I said it. But no, seriously though, why do people say right after everything? Why am I saying again 15 million times on this pod? I don't know. I'm going to fix that. I really am. Again, though, let's talk about choking over here. Let's talk about Justin Simmons, the safety that's out there, or the article on Pro Football Talk that was like, Justin Simmons thinks he's the final piece for a championship squad. Hello, championship squad in Detroit. Hello, that's us. Justin Simmons, a productive safety, a veteran, a smart guy, a guy that has made plays his whole career. Hello? Could we use that? Everything seems to be lining up. But upgrade's going to want a lot of money. Like, I don't see Justin Simmons getting a big old fat deal. I see him getting like that 1 to 2 year deal. Again, the money, I don't know. I just can't see it being ridiculous because he's been waiting around for a while. He's aging, but he's a hell of a football player. So I think I saw another article on one of the Lions sites saying he's a terrible fit for this team. It's like, I mean, again, you get a player like, yes, I realize I just said again, you get a guy like Justin Simmons and you can do all types of things with BB. You can have him and Kerbo hunt the football. Simmons is a more physical player than Kerbo in some ways. It opens up iffy, it lets you do other things with Rakestraw. Like, I think they could use another body in that safety room. And yes, you could go cheap. You could go with some knockoff that's going to be a guy that, but he runs down on kicks. It's like, that might be more important now because of what they're doing with kicks. Because I always made fun of it for years and years. They would make all this stuff about special teams. Like, you're hiring guys to play your fourth safety just because they can run wind sprint down the field for fair catches all day. Wow, congratulations. now that kicks are a little bit different, maybe you do need some of those backup depth guys, like, who's the guy we just brought back off the gambling? His name escapes me. You guys know who I'm talking about. You got him. You've got Joseph. You got some of the other young cats that can do that. If you brought in a Simmons, to me, you're starting Simmons and Kerbo. You're moving BB back to that chess piece slot type position. You're bumping everybody else down a peg on the DB room, whether that means letting Rakestraw, take his time. You got another guy in Aiyuk that can move inside, outside. So, and the biggest thing about Justin Simmons to me is he's just a guy that I want on my football team. He's, for all I know, he's got great character. He's been a great pro. He's been productive. He's still got multiple years. I'd say he's got 2 to 4 years of good football left in him. He's been waiting around. I'm sure he wants to get going and get with the team. So he fits all my check boxes for what I would want. And it's a position of need, in my opinion. Safety, edge rush, another receiver possibly, depth on the O-line, especially at the tackle position. Those are my main concerns, I guess, as we still sit here and we kind of say, well, is Brad Holmes going to do anything? We've kind of been known for him just sit around and roll with his roster, and then when he realizes after the season that he didn't beef up a position, then if he passes on like a Justin Simmons and then realizes he didn't have enough vet experience or whatever it may be at safety, go get a safety next year. He seems to sort of be a year late sometimes in those regards, or he'll like try to beef up a position and then be like, oh, I tried to beef up corner, but I got a bunch of bumskis at corner, and it cost us the NFC title game, so now I'll go beef up my corners for real. I'm hoping that doesn't happen with a player like Simmons. I feel like Simmons or Judon or both would be tremendous. Of course, getting both is going to be pretty unlikely. Getting one, I think, is likely. Getting them at Brad Holmes' price and at a price that makes sense is the challenge. But both could really help this team heading into camp, heading into the season, get a little more edge rush after the quarterback, but don't pay the farm for it, and then also get another versatile, smart safety, but more so just a good football player. That's what this regime likes. That's what I like. He's safe. He didn't have any off the field stuff. He hasn't ever had any major things, probably some injuries here or there, but a guy that I know can still play. If you can get him at the right price and he's excited to come here, I say go get Simmons for your back end or Judon to rush the quarterback. So, everybody, that's what I got for this Koolaid Cast. I keep it a little short, keep it a little tight. We'll have plenty more when camp hits, when there's news out, when we're moving players, when getting reports on guys. I'm doing 80 million fantasy football leagues all across the board. If you want to know more, if you want to join one, if you want to have some fun in fantasy football, hit me up. I just finished my Scott Fishbowl draft, which was incredible. Thank you, Scott Fish, for letting me in. Thank you to the millions and millions out there doing the Scott Fishbowl, competing. I had a great group. I was in the Back to the Future group, the DeLorean division, which we had a ton of fun. A lot of great guys in there. Shout out to all of them. I think I got a good team. I'm not sure. I loaded up on receivers. I got some good other positions. I took BPA. You guys will see my tweets where you can just knock me for my horrible squad, but I think they're going to compete. I got a few questions based on the format and scoring to see what I can do, but that's going to be really fun. And all my Michigan Wolverine fans out there, shout me out as well. You guys can find me on Twitter and X at Derek Okrie. It's spelled DEREKOKRIE. Love talking Wolverines, fantasy football, and about those lines. Everybody, that's what I got. I'll catch you next week right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. I'm out.
Pack the bags, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.